What's up, gamers? This is Proto from Average Gamer, and today we have a video called Like or Dislike, where we talk about some of the latest games coming out. And today we are talking about the Agents of Mayhem. Now, this is one game I've personally been looking forward to, so this will be a very interesting one to talk about. Now, if you don't know what Agents of Mayhem is about, this is a game that follows in the Saints Row series. Now, I know a lot of people are saying this game has nothing to do with Saints Row. It's a new IP, but there's a lot of things that go on in this game that follow suit along the Saints Row series, and we'll get more in depth into that. Now, the basic backstory of Agents of Mayhem is if you played Saints Row 4 and you played the expansion Gat Out of Hell, there was multiple endings, and one of the endings was where Gat chose to have the world rebuilt, and in the ending of it showed that the Saints were now cops and everything. So this is where this game follows suit from story wise. Now, in this new recreated world, there's this evil organization called Legion that's trying to take over the world. And you have the Agents of Mayhem, which are basically the good guys trying to stop Legion from taking over the world. So it's kind of going back to the old sense of the retro classic good guys versus bad guys, G.I. Joe versus Cobra, Transformers versus Decepticons, that type of skit. And like I said, there's a lot of things that relate to the Saints Row series. So if you played any of the Saints Row games before playing this, you're going to pick up on it because there's certain things that reference that they say that relate back to those games. So if you never played none of the Saints Row games, it's not going to be that big of a difference. You won't be able to tell. But I guess you said that's more for the people that have been dedicated fans, people that have played the games. People are like, hey, that happened in so and so game. But like I said, you play as an agent. And one of the big differences in this game from the other Saints Row games, and I'll probably be using Saints Row 4 and probably Saints Row 3 is a lot of reference back to. In this game of Agents of Mayhem, you actually do not create your character. And I know that might be a turnoff to some people because that's what was one of the funniest parts about Saints Row 3 and 4 was you could create this character. You can create them look almost any type of way you want, almost sound any type of way that you want it. But this is their take on it. Instead of being able to create your own character, you have a list of different agents that you can use, each with their own personalities, each with their own abilities, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. So that's one of the big differences in this one. Also, instead of just using one agent, you actually create a team of 3. And like I said, with each one of them having their own abilities, their own perks, you create the teams very unique. Sometimes you create the teams based on the mission that you're doing, or you can just make an overall team. But you're going to learn that certain missions require certain agents with certain skills. So it's best to try out every agent and get a feel for them. Now, once you get all the agents unlocked, it's pretty easy. Like, honestly, unlocking the agents wasn't hard. Some of them were initially when you start the game, and you'll be able to unlock more once you start progressing through the game. And I honestly thought once you unlock them, that would be the end of it. But actually, some of the agents have more of a storyline because not all of them join Agents of Mayhem to fight the bad guys. They all have their own ulterior motives or their own reasons for joining. And I thought that was kind of cool because they have a bunch of side missions that are pertaining to their story, why they're doing it. So you get a little bit more in depth of the characters of why they're doing what they're doing. And like I said, going back to Saints Row 3 and 4, this game is just a Saints Row game at its core. It's destruction, it's funny, it's comedy, it's cussing. at the core, it is a Saints Row game, and you're going to see that from every character, from the dialogue that you exchange back and forth. Like, there are so many things going on between the characters, and I don't want to spoil it for nobody, but it's funny when you listen to how they talk to one another, especially when you get certain team members together. They'll actually talk to one another, and it's kind of funny. Now, as each of these agents, you level them up, and as you level them up, they get more gadgets and more abilities that you can switch out. Some gadgets, some perks make them stronger, make them faster, make their hacking abilities faster, and it all depends on the type of gameplay you play, how you like to play. So that gives a little bit more in depth to categorizing or customizing them how you want to, because you have some that are literally bullet sponges and can take damage and throw it back. You got some that are extremely fast, that are agile. You have agents that specialize in melee. You have agents that specialize in distance. So it's a good variety of them. And then with the additional gadgets and perks that you can get, it adds another level of ability that you can play with them. So that makes it very interesting to use them in a sense. Now, a few things that are still the core of Saints Row, especially from Saints Row 4, you still have certain things that are there, like you have to take over certain areas. You have to control territory. You can get your territory taken back from you, from Legion, and you actually got to fight to get it back. You have to take certain areas to collect cash like you did in Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4. So those at the very core are still the same. Even with vehicles, like back big on Saints Row 4, how you would have to steal vehicles to unlock them. And in a sense, you do that in this one too, but I don't want to spoil it. But a lot of the vehicles are very unique. And what's kind of cool is there's an AI with the vehicle. So depending on the type of vehicle you have, the AI kind of changes, which is kind of cool to me. But overall, it's pretty fun. Some of the other changes are, along with the agents having their own customized kits, you can actually create tech and gear for them. And they have what they call gremlin tech, which just gives you these crazy abilities that last for a few seconds or a few minutes that can turn the tide of a fight for you. And some of them could be so funny. And you can actually use the enemy's tech. If you capture, you get their schematics, you can use their own tech against them to give your people an advantage. Another change in it is the VR room, where you can actually train and try out different agents with different loadouts to see what you like and what you feel before you actually go out into the open world and play with it. So that lets you try, like I said, you try out the gear, you try out the techs and see what you like. But a lot of those changes, me myself, I really don't have nothing against. It makes the game stand out different from all the other ones. It doesn't look like just another clone. So that is kind of cool. I can understand how some people get turned off from it, but to each his own. Now, one of the big things about this game, which is to me at the core a Saints Row game, is their mayhem ability. Once their bar of mayhem charges, they get this ultimate mayhem ability, and every agent's mayhem ability is different. Some have mayhem abilities where they destroy everything around them. Some make them super soldiers. It just all depends. And like I said, with their mayhems, they suit each character, and they're doing some of the craziest, funniest things you will see. And like I said, to me, that reminds me so much of Saints Row. But like I said, the game overall is real good. If you just like to play games, you like to play an open world game with not a lot of depth, just destruction and crude humor and having fun, this is the game for you. But if you're one of those in-depth type of people that like to be involved deep into your characters, you have a sense of connection, you want to know what happens to them, you don't want to get hurt, you might not like this as much. You might be turned off from it. But overall, average gamers, I think, would like it. They will really enjoy it. One thing I have to say, and I'm sorry I didn't mention earlier, there is no multiplayer to this game. It's a single player game, and they chose to do this because the developers felt like if it was a multiplayer game, nobody would really take the time to try out every agent and learn each other. And in turn, with it being a single player game, there's a lot of replay value because you've got several agents that you can level up. So with only using a team of 3, you gotta rotate them back and forth. So sometimes you might be replaying missions just to level them up. So it has a lot of replay value in that way. But like I said, overall, I think the game is a lot of fun. I haven't put it down since I got it. And like I said, it reminds me so much of a Saints Row with its own little twist on it. So at the end, I have to give this game a like. I really didn't see too many things I didn't dislike about it. I've seen a few glitches in the game, but nothing major that just makes you want to stop playing the game or the game is broken. Well, like I said, this game definitely gets a like from me. So I want to hear what you guys think. Whether you like it, you don't like it, if you got it, if you're not going to get it, if you're thinking about getting it. Put it down in the comments and let me know. And make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. And I am Proto, and I will catch you guys later.